misbehave me if I do not buttress these conversations or shed a little light on these issues on the political spotlight today. Once again, my name is Esther Nwachukwu. I'm officially welcoming you to the program. I'd implore you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's at VOP 90.3 FM. VOP 90.3 FM. You can join me virtually and, of course, begin to send in your comments if you actually want to contribute to the conversation that we'll be having here. Also, you can follow our social media handles at VOP 903 FM on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Trust me, there's quite a lot for you to gain in there. And follow me as well on YouTube, Estiq Media, ESTIQ MEDIA. You can subscribe. We also have quite a lot of creative content in there for you to digest and actually enjoy. Of course, on social media, it's Esther Nwachukwu on Facebook, Esther Nwaz on Instagram, that's ESTANWAZ on Instagram, and on Twitter at Esther Nwachukwu, Estiq Media on YouTube at Esther Nwachukwu. So, interestingly, there's quite a lot that actually occurred in the course of the week. I'm going to start off, all right, with what is going on in Kano State. And of course, I'm definitely going to read out some reactions according to what is currently transpiring there. And then we head on to other issues that actually set the tone in the course of the week. The Emir of Kano, that is Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, spoke after receiving his reinstatement letter from Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf at the Africa House, Kano Government House on Friday. Now, Muhammadu Sanusi II stated that politicians have balkanized the Emirates in northern Nigeria, with a state with one emir now becoming 20 and some 19. He used the opportunity to commend Governor Abba Yusuf and members of the State House of Assembly for summoning courage in saving Kano State in Nigeria through his reinstatement. He said his reinstatement was a testament that no man could take away whatever God had given. The emir spoke shortly after receiving his reinstatement letter from the governor. All of this was on Friday. Well, as from Saturday, quite a lot has transpired. Now, the former emir, the one that was deposed or dethroned, Ado Bayero, was accompanied by some security operatives into Kano on Saturday evening. We saw all of that on social media. He was accompanied with some individuals who supposedly are, will I say, supporters of the traditional rights, and of course some security operatives. Apparently, they wanted the court order to be stuck with, the court order that was issued, I think on Friday evening, that for now, based on the court order, there should be no reinstatement of Sanusi Lamido Sanusi until the court says otherwise. Now, the other Emirates, that is there are 5 Emirates. The others actually left quietly, but Ado Bayero came back later. Now, there were speculations that the NSA was involved, although he has denied completely of being part of it. Others have asked President Bwala Tinubu to intervene in the situation in Kano State. But of course, the president has not said anything. He feels that the traditional leaders in there should know what to do, because it is their responsibility to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order. Well, according to one of the former senators, I'm sure you do know him, Sheikh Husani, he actually took to social media to opine that a governor of a northern state should be the one to nominate a king in the northern region of Nigeria. But only the National Council of Traditional Rulers should be allowed to dethrone the king in such region. Now, PDP's chieftain, whom expressed such opinion through his official X account a few minutes ago, stated that in the next constitutional amendment, it should be stated that a governor can appoint an emir, Oba, or king, but only the National Council of Traditional Rulers can remove the emir, Oba, or king. He finally asked his followers if they agree or disagree with such a proposal. So like I said, the traditional situation and of course the balkanization of politicians into the traditional rights have created a form of panic or tension in Kano State. There was protest in one of the emirates that was, compressed or dissolved. The supporters there of the emir in that particular emirate that, had left, they actually went on the streets today in Kano protesting. I want us to take a listen to the special advisor to the Kano State governor speaking shortly, especially on Arise television. You'll be hearing the presenter asking a question in there so that you would know that that particular information is coming from that particular television station. And he had to respond to these questions because it's quite important for us to really understand what exactly is going on there. A couple of persons may say it's none of their business and they have nothing to do with what is going on in Kano State, but I must assure you that it is the business of everybody, because a traditional system, a traditional structure is what has always governed us, is what has always kept us. It has been there from time immemorial. It is what identifies our social cultural values. It is what gives us the community that we currently recognize or identify as. So when our traditional institutions become politicized, it raises a question as to what is Nigeria doing about it, or what are Nigerians going to do about it? So his name is Mohammed Jamu Yusuf. He is a special advisor to the governor of Kano State. Let's listen to what he has to say concerning the particular trado political logjam in Kano State.
Because throughout the process, the people of Kano State, whatever has happened has already happened. The people have been law-abiding and they are concentrating on their own businesses. When you move around the city of Kano, if you are not within the vicinity of where the two palaces resides, you will not even know that anything is happening in Kano. And from government side, we have been doing everything humanly possible that we can to prevent the breakdown of law and order. No government will sit down and allow the breakage of law and order. The responsibility of government is to protect the lives and properties of people in the state, and we are doing everything humanly possible to ensure that no one is hurt because of this issue. And even the security agencies, no matter what, I must commend them. They are on the ground and you can see them. They have done a lot of deployments around the city, and added with the fact that the people of the state are not interested in any crisis. So I don't see any reason why we can be afraid for now. The only issue of concern from the side of the government is that even if the former emir has some grouses with what has happened, the best way he should go about it is to go through the courts of law. Already, if as they are saying that there is a court order, which of course even now as I'm speaking to you, the Kano state government has not seen, cited or received any court order. We have only seen this court order being bandied around in the social media, and we all know the process. Once there is an order from the court, it has to be served, and if it has been served, there is always an evidence that it has been served. So since there is no processes which the state government is aware, he should have stayed away and follow the fight for his fundamental right. It doesn't have to be from within Kano, because that is the only thing that is causing tension right now as I speak to you in Kano. But no matter what, despite this, we are still on ground and we are making sure that we will not allow the breakage of law and order, and the state government, in consonance with the security agencies, will do everything humanly possible to make sure that this does not snowball into any crisis that cannot be contained.
Thank you, sir. 4 years ago, when the Emir Mohammed Sanusi was dethroned, he left Kano without any sort of noise or any coming back to create any type of tension in the state. Do you believe that the now deposed Emir Bayero should do the same thing? And also, I want to know if you hold the former governor of Kano State and the current APC national chairman, Abba Ganduje, responsible for the current crisis going on in the state?
Well, you see the action of His Royal Majesty Sunusi Lamido Sunusi of leaving Kano and staying away from Kano throughout these whole years and concentrating on his life outside Kano. That shows nothing but statesmanship. And I dove my heart personally for him. I'm speaking on myself here. I dove my heart for him personally for that action that he has said. And for the deposed Emir Alhaji Amina Ado Bayero, I have already mentioned that the best action that he should have taken is by staying away from the state and going to court to fight for his fundamental right. It will have been more civil than what is going on here. And for people that are involved in these actions against the state, I am not going to make any categorical statement on who exactly is behind this matter, but all I can be able to tell you is that we are making investigations, and at the end of the investigations, despite the names that you have already heard of people who are being thought to be actors in this particular matter, we will come out with a full report of what happened and who were behind all this that has happened, because this is a historical point and it is an interesting thing. Let me even tell you on a lighter mood. You see, the kingdom of Kano, more than 1,000 years ago, it was established through a lot of battles and a lot of wars. Those days when we used to fight with the bow and arrow and the horses, so for the kingdom of Kano to be established, those wars were fought at several fronts, up to the point where the state, the traditional institution was established. So even now, as I'm speaking to you, I think another battle and another war is being fought to maintain the history of Kano State, even though this war is not being fought with bows and arrows or with the guns and the gunships, but it is being fought with intelligence, and rather, let me use the word, maybe an artificial intelligence. And at the end
Oh, well, you just heard the special advisor to the governor of Kano State actually speaking on the current situation in there. And of course, breaking at the moment is the fact that President Bwala Ahmed Tinubu is presently at the launch location of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road, officiating the flag-off ceremony in Victoria Island, Lagos. The 700-kilometer project runs through 8 states, ending in Calabar, Cross River State's capital. And of course, the aim of that particular project is to enhance economic growth in Nigeria, particularly in the state it traverses. I'm sure you do know that in the course of the week, Dave Umahi disclosed that they were going back to the former mapping, all right, the previous mapping. And then Nigerians, went agog. They were complaining, why? What happened? You have already destroyed properties along the landmark beach resort. So how are you going to compensate those who actually have those properties? And recently we heard that the landmark beach resort investors have decided to go invest in another country. So there is a lot of back and forth in that regard. In the course of the conversation, we will go into that. Now, the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, as well as other dignitaries are at the site of the project at the moment. So President Tinubu at the Coastal Road flag-off was in the company of governors, deputy governors, chief of staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, ministers, National Assembly members, traditional rulers, and various dignitaries, many of whom had earlier attended the commissioning of the reconstructed Akpakpa Oronshoki Ojota Expressway and the rehabilitated Third Mainland Bridge. The president actually came into Lagos, I think Friday evening thereabout, or Saturday evening, either on Friday evening or Saturday evening. I'm sure it's because of this project that the president came on. So I would say that officially we're kicking off the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project, which I would say is a developmental stance for Nigerians, and it is hopeful that we would embrace it regardless of the controversy this project has generated. Now, you recall as well that a lot actually happened 2 days or 3 days ago. Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka disclosed that the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, is unfit to actually contest or be the president of Nigeria, or unfit to lead the country. He said it had become evident with the conduct of his supporters, who are known as obedient, during electioneering in the 2023 general elections. And you will recall as well that when the elections took place, or actually during the campaign before the elections took place, the same Wole Soyinka had actually called obedience fascists. He called them that, he phrased them with that word. And would I say on netizens went agog. The obedient, supporters of the obedience, and those who are supporting Wole Soyinka were having the back and forth concerning the statement that he made, and everybody went back in history as to who has caused the deterioration of our moral values. They dug up, videos of Wole Soyinka's fraternity, and they made comparisons with his son, who as well was initiated in that fraternity, and what those fraternity have become now. They brought out videos of a lot of persons and young persons who joined fraternities and how they've been killed and how they have died. It's quite a lot, but I want us to take a listen to Wole Soyinka when he granted that interview and what he said.
The nation that he doesn't express interest in the next election, because for me as a leader, if there was any proof that he was unfit to lead that country, it's in the conduct which he encouraged among his followers. Because I know for a fact, and I can give you an instance which proves that he was in control of those forces.
Can you please, what's the instance, Prof?
Well, simply because when he first came to visit me, I remember the moment when he took out his computers, something, and after he made a statement like, "Oh, don't worry, everything, will be taken care of. You don't have anything to worry about these people." He was talking about the quote-unquote obedience. I remember he took out his computer, his phone, and he tapped, a message, there. And he showed me, I was watching him very closely, any sort of thing. And after that, everything seemed to be, to be nice and cozy.
All right, you just listened to Wole Soyinka there stating that Peter Obi is unfit to become the president in 2027. Not only that, Wole Soyinka also feels that Peter Obi was in charge of the trolls who actually said a couple of derogatory words to him. According to him, he went further to reinstate or emphasize that one of the reasons he believes that Peter Obi shouldn't go ahead with the 2027 elections is that it is evident with the conduct of his supporters, who are known as the Obedience, what they did during the 2023 general elections, and that the failure of Peter Obi to control or rein in on his supporters attacking others with opposing views online was a pointer that he is unfit to lead a country like Nigeria. And the icon actually accused Obi of course, of encouraging the Obedience to attack him and others with opposing views online, but not to defend anybody. I remember that before the campaign, or rather during the campaign, before the 2023 elections actually took off, Peter Obi actually went to meet this Nobel laureate. Part of the conversations they had was about proper leadership and how to steer the course of the nation forward. Peter Obi also used the opportunity to solicit his support somewhat and to say, hey, I would like to borrow a bit of your knowledge. So while I go ahead with this, I know that I'm in the right path. And I think it was after that interview or after that conversation that Wole Soyinka gave the Obedience a derogatory name where he called them fascists. And so it's quite surprising that he has come up again with this statement as to, responding to Peter Obi by calling him or telling him that he is unfit and that because he cannot control the Obedience, that's the reason why he considers him unfit. Literally stating categorically that the Obedience are the problem of Peter Obi or the Labour Party. Well, trust Dati Baba Ahmed, he was able to respond. In fact, in that interview with Charles on Prime Time, he did not really want to expatiate further on Wole Soyinka, but let's take a listen to what he had to say in defense of his principle and the situation with the Labour Party.
The statesman, Professor Wole Soyinka, he is scared in advance about what good Peter Obi will bring to Nigeria. He's scared in advance that the end is still looking very likely for his principle, for bad governance. And what Soyinka is doing now is an attempted distraction, which I beg you to excuse me from joining issues with Wole Soyinka, please. You and I have much, much better things to do. For all I know, he could continue to throw punches at my principal, at me, as small as I am. He could continue to do that. All I can do, I will grieve in my heart, I will pray for him. You see, intellect does not give you the right to insult anybody. I remember this Soyinka insulting late General Abacha, insulting him to the core, that he was daft, he was that. Nothing gives him the right to do that. He had no rights. Abacha was not an academic. He was a soldier, for God's sake, and a good one for that matter, in his own way, in his own right. I beg you, let us please put Soyinka and his likes aside. We have better things to talk about. Let me tell you that Nobel laureates all over the world are loved and cherished by their people, not just their nationals, globally. I have never heard where Nobel laureates are insulted in the manner that Wole Soyinka is. You're making me to speak about him, I don't want to. Now, go back. Nigerians contested through Peter Obi and me. We said this many, many times. It was a force that came alive, a genuine one, a powerful one, that won election and was taken away. Never mind what INEC declared. There is no way Peter Obi, with all the issues in front of him, and my humble self, can control obedience as they were. Peter Obi entered a canoe without a life jacket, and he paid for it. So it is not the work of Peter Obi to control the obedience. It is the responsibility of Wole Soyinka to maintain his respect and dignity. I could say a few things to Wole Soyinka that will destroy him for good, but I wouldn't say that. Only 3 days ago, I saw, the whole world saw his own principal. I'm not here to call names. I wish I could finish this interview. We saw the ongoing president of Nigeria almost kneeling to greet an elder statesman, while people like Soyinka are out there insulting others. So in the heat, in the presence of all the politics and dynamics and everything, decent Nigerians should continue to offer respect to others. You know, I said it before, the ongoing president, even though I do not agree with everything about him, whenever I call him uncle, he laughs, I laugh, and we walk away. Why start insulting people? People like me, we describe, we give objective assessment, and they say we insult. And we don't. It's not our history, it's not our upbringing, never insulted anybody. But why should a Nobel laureate make it because he knows how to speak English? The 1960s and 1970s English? I think all he is trying to do is an attempted distraction, which Peter Obi and myself have excused ourselves. We will not react to that Nobel laureate. He should please go and see how other Nobel laureates are respecting themselves, holding the honor all over the world. Charles, let's move away from this man.
Well, never.
Nuances within the party very easily disappear the moment the whistle is blown and it's time and they see the right candidate for a party.
Yeah, but it's affecting the confidence of the people. I mean, people are watching what is going on. Social media is swamped by viewers saying that it does seem to them like the Labour Party is coming apart at the seams.
No, this is what I told you, that these things very quickly dissipate and give way to the genuine party that it is once the time comes. Because come 2026, and you begin to see what is going on in other parties, particularly APC, the ongoing presidency now, with the distrust, and then, of course, the most fundamental, their failures. But sadly, Nigerian politics is not about governance. It is about escorting people to achieve their individual political desires. Unfortunately, sadly, it is. Only weeks back, a number 2 refused to board a certain machine and travel out of the country. What does that begin to tell you? When the number 1 was out, I would not dwell so much into this, but when the time comes and the distrust shows, they know each other more than we probably know them. So the problems of Labour Party is child play comparing to what is going on there. I mean, I don't want to call names, but Femi Rojamila is much too smart for that number 2. The lady senator is too loyal, too faithful to have fallen into the schemes of that.
Yes, you just listened to the vice presidential candidate in the 2023 presidential election of the Labour Party, Dati Baba Ahmed, right there, of course, defending his principle. And he actually had quite a lot to say about the Nobel laureate. According to him, like you heard him say, it's not about English of the 1980s or 1990s. And he also said that he doesn't really want to say a lot of things, otherwise possibly Wole Soyinka would go home and think. Well, again, those, of course, were part of the issues that occurred in the course of the week, which we'll be talking about further as the program continues. Meanwhile, you do know that the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, has said he does not know the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. And this was on the second day of the ministerial sectoral update. So I'm sure you know that the ministers have been given a sectoral updates of their ministries, what they've been able to accomplish so far, you know, in this 1 year President Bwala Ahmed Tinubu's administration. It's almost like telling us so far what their scorecard is. And Nigerians had quite a lot to say based on a lot of things they reeled out on that podium. You recall the president said the handover day will be celebrated low-key because of the fact that he knows Nigerians are not happy. He has also apologized to Nigerians, saying, I know you're not happy with us. Please, you know, forgive us. We're doing the best that we can. But things are so hard. It's beyond how Nigerians feel. Well, you do know that in the course of that sectorial update, Fagbemi said the case of Nnamdi Kanu and that of Sowore, that they are not the same. He failed to mention the case of Sunday Igboho, the Yoruba Nation activist who was recently freed by the federal government. The AGF said Kanu was being held under the rule of law. And of course, journalists asked why the likes of Omoyele Sowore and Sunday Igboho were released while Kanu remains in the custody of the DSS. The minister said Nnamdi Kanu and Showore's case are not the same. If I see Sowore, I don't know him. If I see Nnamdi Kanu, I don't know him. I'd like us to take a listen to the minister when he made that proclamation about Nnamdi Kanu, Sowore, and of course Sunday Igboho.
That you mentioned, efforts are on. You know, it is not, investigation is the most difficult thing to do anywhere in the world. I assure you that it may be slow, but it is sure we will get there. Then somebody asked something about Kano and Sowore. They are not the same. Up till now, if I see Sowore, I don't know him. If I see Nnamdi Kanu, I don't know him. But I called for the files of the two people. They are not the same. When I felt, well, this one should go, I had no hesitation. It didn't give me any difficulty, but I have a difficulty in respect of the other one. And he's been held under the rules and laws of the nation. And I know that it's now in court. Let's wait for the decision of the court. Then, in respect of the arrest, you say, of journalists, I don't like the coloration. We are the same. We are together. we don't distinguish whether somebody is journalist or not journalist. What we look at is the offense or the allegation. And it doesn't mean that you have been convicted or found guilty or culpable of the allegation made against you. All that is required is we have something against you, just profile explanation, and you go. And let me assure you that no one will be held outside the laws of the country. In respect of the various cases at the police station, I can't remember the number of cases that I have instructed should be terminated. And it got to such an extent that somebody came to me and said, oh, they are taking note of the number of people you have released, so you have to be careful. I said, in case you finished exhausting the notebook where you are putting this, I will supply you with more. So it's not about that, it is about, you look at the facts. If they don't justify, you let the person go. You don't rationalize justice, you dispense it. And the difference between the two is obvious. When you rationalize, you now say maybe somebody will say this, somebody will say that. That is not the issue. You look at if 100 people are deserving of being released, you release them. If you commit another offense, that's an entirely different matter. But I want to say, the other time I said that of Ndume is strictly an affair between the judiciary and those who go there. But
Well, you just listened to the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Olasukomi Fagbemi. He is a senior advocate of Nigeria, and of course you heard him where he said that the law is what is detaining Nnamdi Kanu. He doesn't know whom he is. Unless you bring the case file, all he sees is the case, and that he's urging that Nigerians should allow justice take its course. All right, I'm sure you recall that in the course of the week as well, Nnamdi Kanu was denied bail. I think this was on Monday, where the Federal High Court in Abuja, on Tuesday rather, rejected the bail application by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Justice Binta Nyako granted an accelerated hearing instead. Aloy Ejimako had at the last time adjourned date urged the court to admit Nnamdi Kanu to bail before the commencement of the trial. Ejimako stated that Kanu's health condition was deteriorating and that his continued detention, by the DSS was a threat to his life. So, the court, that is Awomolo, who is a prosecutor representing the federal government, asked the court to dismiss the bail application and instead grant an accelerated hearing. Well, I'm very, very sure that you know that this was basically what the case was all about. Up until the last time when he was denied bail and Nnamdi Kanu had to vituperate in court, he actually had to express himself, where he had to defend himself and cited the Constitution. I want us to listen to that. I'm sure quite a lot of us already know the drama that took place in court at the time, but let's listen to what Nnamdi Kanu said.
Can never be tried in any court of law in Nigeria. That's what the law says. Anybody standing in trial or coming to try me is a terrorist. That's what their law says. Not me. As simple as that. Section 2, subsection 3F of Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. That's what it says. Any court considered to try me is committed an act of terrorism. Yes. Very clear. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then come to try that very person is not done anywhere in the world. So you must be aware of that. So that is why there is all these ridiculous delays. That is what Supreme Court said. I did not jump bail. My home was invaded. They came to kill me and I survived. They came to Kenya to kidnap me, brought me back to this country and seeking to try me, which the law says cannot happen. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then hope to stand on that illegality to conduct a trial is not done anywhere in the world. I don't have it in my case. Nobody has, there's no exception. No exception whatsoever. That's what the law says. Section 12 of the Constitution, what does it say? Any treaty ratified by Nigeria becomes law. It's law. You cannot change it. It doesn't matter what they do. All this shenanigans is just pure rubbish. You understand? Not with me. I believe in justice and fairness. That's all.
Nigeria is trying to survive, not institutions.
The opinion that you made, but that's what you wrote. You said here, my lord, that the defendant has now applied for bail. Now, as I've said earlier, bail is a decision of the court, taking into consideration all the conditions laid down in Muhammad Abacha v. State. At this stage, I am of the opinion that to make or take a stand on the bail application without first hearing and determine the issue that is glaring in the face, which is the absence of the defendant from the court since 25th of April 2017 until he was produced on the 29th of June, my lord, which was exactly what the Supreme Court did. They said that he did not jump bail. These criminals came to my house to kill me. That's what the Supreme Court said. This is in your own court, my lord. So I cannot understand, my lord, why my trial will be conducted contrary to the Constitution of Nigeria that said I must have free and unfettered access to my counsel. It's here. This is the law of Nigeria.
Oh, well, you just listened to Nnamdi Kanu there. That was one of the cases that occupied the political landscape in the course of the week. And then we went into the Labour Party, where Kenneth Okonkwo rejected Julius Abure, supposedly saying categorically, where he said on his X account, he expressed strong condemnation of the National Convention organized by Abure, labeling it as rife with criminality and corruption. So according to Kenneth Okonkwo, I am going to read out what he said. I am suspending my relationship in all ramifications with the purported Abure-led National Working Committee of Labour Party. For me, it's either a new Nigeria or nothing. I prefer to lose doing the right thing to winning doing the wrong thing. Nothing can wash out the criminality, corruption and incompetence with which the purported National Convention was purportedly organized by Abure. And of course, you recall that that same time, Peter Obi visited the National Secretariat of the Labour Party. I'm sure we all saw that video where he was alongside Julius Abure. According to Peter Obi, it was an opportunity through which he needed to ensure that there was peace and resolution within the Labour Party, because a lot of persons have clamored that there should be peace restored in the Labour Party. Factions should come together, let things work ahead so that they can do what they need to do, which is to possibly project the lives of people, positively project the lives of people. It's all about grassroots mobilization ahead of 2027. In as much as Peter Obi said for him, it's not about being or vying for the presidential slot in 2027. For him, it is all about ensuring that our political landscape is convenient and conducive enough for the dividends of democracy to get across to every Nigerian. Well, in reaction to that, the former lawmaker, Senator Daniel Bwala, has disclosed that Kenneth Okonkwo is also about to dump Peter Obi. Now, you know that after Kenneth Okonkwo said he's no longer going to be part of the National Working Committee of the Julius Abure-led, Labour Party, well, Daniel Bwala stated that it was after Okonkwo announced that he was dumping the Labour Party committee led by the Julius Abure, who is the chairman. And so he after he made that disclosure, Bwala said that the statement indicates that there will soon be a strain in the relationship between Okonkwo, that's Kenneth Okonkwo, and Peter Obi. So he went to his X account and he said the Labour Party that sponsored at Peter Obi as presidential candidate is a jealous Abba-led party. Kenneth Okonkwo is reported to have dumped the Abba-led Labour Party. Therefore, technically, Kenneth Okonkwo is or about to dump Peter Obi. And of course, you do know that set the tone in on social media. Netizens went to go with what Bwala said. A couple of people said, what exactly has Peter Obi done to these individuals that every time they keep mentioning his name, making assumptions of whatever it is that Nigerians or some opponents of the Labour Party have been saying? And so that's the question that is rife, in the mouth of a lot of Nigerians as to the case of Nnamdi Kanu. And in the same week, Abba Kyari was given 2 weeks bail to go see his mom, or rather to bury his mom. We do know that Abba Kyari has been in custody for, drug-related charges by the NDLEA. I'm sure you know that the NDLEA actually did what you would call investigation. There was an insider who followed through to ensure that there was evidence to prove against Abba Kyari, and he was given 2 weeks bail to bury his mom. Everyone was surprised that an individual can be given leave to, from the custody for any personal thing. Meanwhile, Nnamdi Kanu has been asking for bail, either to be on house arrest or be transferred to DSS custody. According to Justice Bintari Yako, one of the reasons why they feel or they're skeptical to grant Nnamdi Kanu that bail is the fact that the prisons could be broken into. I think that was one of the response that was given to Tukur Mamur, the supposed terrorist negotiator who has been in the DSS custody. He has been complaining that his health is deteriorating and that he needs to be granted bail to go treat himself. Well, when he appeared in court, his bail request was turned down. They said one of the reasons was the fact that Kuje prison could be broken into. So staying in the DSS custody is preferable where they can monitor him, despite him saying he's going to appear in court for any time he needs to, or he is required to appear in court to defend himself. So that's the question. And questions are arising. Is there any hope whatsoever in the case of Nnamdi Kanu? Are we going to see any form of change? Peter Obi too has been clamoring for justice in our political landscape, justice with a lot of things happening that are affecting Nigerians. For example, the closure of Banex Plaza in Abuja. These are the back and forth currently going on, along with the situation in Kano State. It's time for me to call my analyst who will be joining me via the telephone to actually give us his own perspective on all these issues that we have raised up and what is the way forward. Sometimes when we come on this platform to dissect these issues, it's not necessarily to make this administration infamous. It's a platform through which people are able to express themselves as to what is going on in our polity, and possibly they will give us their recommendations, and hopefully government officials are listening to do the needful. Barrister Darlington, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the Political Spotlight this evening. How are you?
Yes, how are you today?
I'm fine. Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm sure you listened to all that, we talked about and the responses of those who are the crux of the political situation we're talking about. Let me start off with the case in Kano State. According to Emir Sanusi, he said that our traditional institutions have been balkanized by politicians. Politics has lubricated or adulterated the sanctity and the propensity of our traditional structures. What's your take on that?
Yeah, Esther, thank you. You see, Kano, the Emirate Council, in fact, originally, it was the Fulanis who invaded the north in the 1804 that brought about the Emirate Council. It was never originally the tradition of the Hausas, who were the original indigenous of the north. It was the Fulani that brought this Emirate Council. And then all the Hausa princes were eliminated to make way for the Emirate Councils. And over the years, this thing has been sustained. Even Sanusi's father was dethroned for reasons of rivalry.
This same Sanusi, his father was the third. Would you call it what would you call it? A family pattern? A generational thing?
Well, it depends on how you look. When something has happened over and over. In fact, if you go to your website or if you put your Google, they will tell you how many of these emirs that have been betrothed. There is nothing about it. But in the case of Sanusi, it is very, very peculiar because Sanusi was a mule for reasons that are not too pure. For reasons that you and I know is not does not go down with the well with Kano people. And so when the governor in place now came on board, he discovered that a lot of injustice had been done, not only to Sanusi, but to the Emirate. How can you distort an age-long tradition because you want to punish one man? You created the 5-4 Emirate just to whittle down his authority. Something never heard of in the history of Kano. Something unthinkable. That is to water down the respect that particular emirate they control. The emir of Kano. In fact, after the Sardina of Sokoto, it is the emir of Kano in the north, in that order. But with what they did, they just made that particular position irrelevant. All because of what? Political and selfish interest. So when the new government of NNPP came into office, they discovered all this and said, no, we must normalize this. We must normalize it. Remember, Sanusi is not even an NNPP person. He doesn't belong to that party. Yes. So whatever the governor did, it was purely to preserve a tradition. That is all. It's to preserve a tradition. The question I will ask people is, they should ask Gandhi, why did you create the 5 more Emirates in Kano?
That's the next question I wanted to ask you. I mean, what exactly? It used to be very close. They used to be friends. So how did things dissolve between both of them, and then they became enemies? And before you know, we saw that the creation of 5 Emirates and dethroned Sanusi.
Even Abba, he knows that thing was wrong. He knew that it was wrong. That was why throughout the day in that school, you never heard of him. He did not enjoy that position because his fire has been whittled down. And that is not how this is supposed to be. That was not how it was created. He only did that to whittle down so that they have an emir they can control. That is just the simple reason. Meanwhile, the traditional school is supposed to be insulated from politics. You can imagine. Everybody knows how important Kano is when it comes to election and politics.
Yes.
So the governor did that so that they can have a say in Kano. They can have a control over the emir, telling what to do and what not to do.
That was Gandhi at the time.
Yeah, that was why Gandhi did it. Not knowing that table can turn. He believed that the APC will continue to control Kano. But he never knew that the people had a different opinion. And that was why they lost Kano. That thing Gandhi did made APC to lose Kano. You can imagine. So there's a limit to how you can talk to them, how you can control the people. They knew that their tradition has been bastardized, and they were waiting to have a pound of their flesh. And they waited for APC in the election. That was what happened. And now this man has come to correct it. Ordinarily, if an MPP doesn't mean well, he would have said, okay, let it remain as it is. He would have said yes, so that he can even harvest the benefit. But he said, no, this is a tradition that has been there over centuries. Why must you distort it for your political gain, which you did not even gain at the end of the day? You know, at the end of the day, Gandhi did not gain anything. That is to tell you that the people are not happy. So I'm not surprised that correction has been made. I'm not surprised. That will teach politicians a lesson. There's a limit to how they can control traditional rules. Can anybody try this in Edo State?
In fact, that's what I wanted to ask you. You know that our traditional rulers actually often derive their titles from the rulers of independent states or communities, and this existed before the formation of modern Nigeria. Now, they never had a formal political power, but in many cases, they continue to command respect from their people and have considerable influence in their community. And one of such regions is the northern region. They value their culture so much. They respect their traditional leaders. The traditional rulers are almost like demigods. You need to see how they supposedly worship their traditional leaders. So when did this right, this sacredness in their traditional rights and values degenerate to this point of power tussle? I mean, look at Ado Bayero coming to Kano on Saturday amidst, heavy security escorts. You also see that there was a protest today in one of the Emirates that was dissolved. The youth in that particular emirate, they protested. The Nigerian police had to come in to restore calm in that area. So right now, that particular region seemed to be in tension. I even heard that Sanusi has had to go to his own residence. He had to leave the palace to go to his own residence. So what exactly is going on? Was this the right time for what Yusuf did?
APC is looking for something in Kano and they will get it.
Do you think that the federal government, the APC, is responsible for this?
Because if you check, listen very well, Ado Bayero has already left quietly. Until one illegal injunction was brought from somebody who was staying in the US. It was at that point that the government of Tinubu now mobilized his people and they now brought Bayero to Kano. What does that mean? No, what is the meaning of that? They have already installed the Sanusi before the injunction came. So what are you saying? Are you saying they should reverse it? APC went to get at Kano. That is just a simple explanation, nothing else.
Wow.
That is why they are now supporting and promoting this infamy.
But Barrister Darlington, you know that Atiku Abubakar has condemned the federal government for its action in deploying security forces to Kano over the battle of emirship between the 16th and 15th Emir, Muhammadu Sanusi and Aminu Ado Bayero. Atiku said the matter remains under the influence of the state since Governor Abba Yusuf enacted the repealed Kano State Emirate Council law, which consequently reinstated the deposed Sanusi as the current emir. He said the action of the federal government contravenes the 1999 constitution as amended. And he made this known in a statement by his media advisor Paul Iber on Saturday. He warned President Bwala Tinubu's administration not to make any attempt to destabilize Kano, which has been known for peace over the years. And so he says that the action of the federal government in deploying soldiers in Kano in the tussle over the throne of the ancient city is an upset to the peace and security of the state and also a breach of the 1999 constitution. And he said it is quite important for the federal government to respect the traditional rights and let them handle their internal crisis on their own so it doesn't lead to a destabilization of the political landscape in Kano State. Well, I mean, what would you say to what Atiku is saying? Would you say he's making this statement as an opposition?
Atiku is a stakeholder and he has spoken right. In fact, he has said the mind of many northern elites. When Sanusi was dethroned, Esther, you and I saw how he left quietly. Nobody deployed any police or he did not even go to seek any injunction. So, why would it be different now? Are you telling me that Sanusi did not have any people who love him in Kano as to go and collect injunction to stop the dethronement of Bayero? Are you telling me that? The man who went to seek injunction was equally sponsored. If not, this man, Bayero, he left quietly. There was no ruckus. The state government, it is within their power. It is within their jurisdiction to repeal or appeal any chieftaincy matter. In fact, that matter is in the hands of the deputy governor. So why would the federal government deploy troops and army if they don't have interest in that place? Why would they? Who called them? Who called them? They will tell them that they came to maintain peace and order. Meanwhile, they are creating problems. They would have told Bayero, please, Your governor has taken decision. Obey that decision.
That's what he's saying. He's even saying that the former emir could not have made his way into the palace without the support of the federal government, having done so with the support of the army and other security personnel in his company, and that the deployment of soldiers in extra constitutional matters such as this undermines the integrity of the Nigerian military. I mean, he actually spoke quite a lot about this entire ordeal.
I said that is the correct statement to make. And other elites are watching. They are watching Tinubu, how you want to destabilize their traditional school that has stood over the years.
But the president has not intervened. You know, Nigerians have been calling for the president to intervene in the problem.
Commander-in-chief. Else, listen very well. Listen and listen good. Tinubu is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Nigeria. No one soldier, one single soldier can be deployed anywhere without the Tinubu's authorization. You didn't hear what I said now?
Yes, sir.
So let nobody come and tell me he did not speak. He did not. When he will tell them, will you be there? It's just a phone call. Answer, it's just a phone call. He doesn't need to come out in the public and announce it. And no military can go anywhere without Tinubu's authorization. So what are you telling me? Did they go there on their own? Somebody authorized them. Somebody authorized them to move. That is a fact. So if the problem now boomerang, he should not come and complain or start looking for somebody to blame.
All right, Barrister Darlington, let's move on to other issues because I need to open up the phone lines. Kenneth Okonkwo said that Peter Obi, or rather Daniel Bwala, has disclosed that Peter Obi and Kenneth Okonkwo are about to have a rift. According to him, he said that Kenneth Okonkwo is about to dump Peter Obi if he has decided not to be part of the Julius Abure national-led working committee. And he said the reason why he believes that is the fact that the Julius Abure national working committee are the ones that actually supported, you know, the presidential, position of Peter Obi. And so if that is the case, and Kenneth Okonkwo is saying he doesn't want to have anything to do with Julius Abure, that it means that Peter Obi and Kenneth Okonkwo, or rather Kenneth Okonkwo, has dumped Peter Obi, or he no longer supports Peter Obi. What's your take on what Daniel Bwala is saying?
Look, you see Daniel Bwala, you see Kenneth Okonkwo. From the look of things, I see them as rabble routers. You
mean, you remember that Kenneth Okonkwo is a very strong supporter of the Labour Party?
They have no electoral value. In the first place, who is Kenneth Okonkwo in Labour Party? Is he holding any position?
But he followed Peter Obi through all his appearance at the tribunal.
Was he the only one that followed Peter Obi? Hold on. Was he the only one that followed Peter Obi? Part of Tommy Professor, part of Tommy followed Peter Obi now.
But he's still a supporter of Peter Obi. He doesn't have issues with Peter Obi.
So when Kenneth Okonkwo, you're telling me he followed him, how many votes did he bring for Peter Obi? How many votes?
He was more of a spokesman for that particular team. Barrister Darlington, can you remember when Kenneth Okonkwo granted a press, an interview with Arise Television, and he said the worst of Labour Party is better than the best of APC? The same Kenneth Okonkwo made that statement.
One of the reasons why, these charlatans see themselves as irrelevant is because you impress. You give them that impetus. Because they get an interview and made a statement. Any other person could have granted an interview and made the same statement. It doesn't have any value. What I'm asking you now is he to be holding any position in the Labour Party? The answer is no. What is the electoral value of Kenneth Okonkwo? Apart from living in bondage, did he bring anything to this Labour Party? Hold on, did he? So please, this is irrelevant.
No, but don't you find it ironical that this same individual that said quite a lot of positive things about the Labour Party, about the Peter Obi and Dati Baba Ahmed as a team, you supported in various forums, you made a lot of derogatory statements against this current administration, and all of a sudden you are distancing yourself from a party that you've shown so much support, and you made a statement where you said the worst of Labour parties is better than APC. And then all of a sudden now all of this, do you think he should have kept quiet? Do you think he should have tried to have a conversation and see how things could have changed? I mean, what's your take in all of this? It's quite confusing.
That's what I'm telling you. He wants to be relevant, simple and short. Unfortunately, it backfired because if you check, It didn't affect Labour Party in any form. Did you see that anybody followed him when he left Abure?
No, nobody did.
Did you see that anybody followed him? Did you hear any people following like Kenneth Okonkwo? That is what I want to ask you. That is how to measure his relevance. Anybody could have spoken on behalf of Peter Obi and Dati Ahmed. And so many people spoke now. I know how much my person spoke in his favor in that platform. So what are you saying? What Senator Okonkwo did is wrong. It's like a Judas stabbing his master at the back. Even if you want to do such a thing, what are you supposed to do? Are you telling me that these people that are ruling now, they are better than Abure when it comes to corruption? Hold on. Are you saying that? Are you telling me that Abure is the worst national chairman of any party? Answer me. You had what one of the chieftain of APC is saying about APC, that he's even going to sue Tinubu to court because they have violated all their constitution. That up to now they don't have a board of trustees. That the decisions are taken individually. And that's the fact. Why is Kenneth Okonkwo not seeing that? Must everything be 100? It's only God that is perfect. It's only God that is perfect. Nobody is perfect.
All right, Barrister Darlington, let's quickly.
Then let me come for the position and let's see how far you go.
I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you heard the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, when he was speaking at the ministerial sectoral update.
It's muffled, though. It's muffled.
Barrister Darlington, I was hearing you well before. What happened now? I can hear you well. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, so the Minister of Justice, while he giving his sectoral update, said that he doesn't know Nnamdi Kanu. He doesn't know Igboho. He doesn't know any of those individuals. For him, it is about the case file. And he said, let justice take its course. Let the laws of the land, let the justice or the rules that governs Nigeria take course in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, that he doesn't know him. I'm sure you heard him say that. But what caused the issue that made netizens actually make comparisons was the fact that he said the case of Igboho and the case of Showore is not the same as the case of Nnamdi Kanu. That's what he said. He also made reference to the fact that if you are obviously innocent, that the law will definitely let you go scot-free, so long as you have the evidence to prove otherwise. But we saw that this week, Abba Kyari was given 2 weeks leave to go bury his mom. I'm surprised that if you're in the DSS custody or if you're in any custody whatsoever, that you'll be given a certain grant, to go bury your mom. I've never heard that. This is the first time I'm actually hearing this take place. Meanwhile, Nnamdi Kanu has been asking for bail. He's been asking to be released to go to treat himself, proper medical healthcare checkup, asking to, if they cannot give him the house arrest that he's asking for in terms of bail, then let him be transferred to Kuje prison. So how do you compare this form of justice? I mean, I just need your take as a legal practitioner on this issue.
Esther, Nnamdi Kanu's case has already been judged by these people.
But why would you say so?
Yes, it has been judged by these people. It's just that they don't know how to pass the sentence. Nnamdi Kanu is guilty by what? By location. As far as he's coming from the south, he's guilty already.
So you're saying that there is an ethnic bias in this whole thing?
You said what?
You're stipulating that it's an ethnic bias. So if he was not from that geographical location, it would have been different.
Why didn't the Attorney General break it down and tell us how Sowore's case, Soyinka's case, is different from that of Nnamdi Kanu? Why didn't he? I am telling you that Soyinka, he read the secessionist address before the camera. Soyinka, he was declared wanted by the DSS. That's why they invaded his home and he ran to the Republic of Benin. Why is it different from that of Nnamdi Kanu? The judge, some people were using that address. There was a policeman behind him. It was all over the place. You mean the Attorney General is not aware that some people brought up their currency, the Oduduwa Republic currency, the Pataka. He brought their passport. He brought their flag. He brought all the symbols of state authority. He displayed it before the camera, before the press that day. You mean the Attorney General is not aware of this? He's not aware. Let him come and tell me. Anyway, he doesn't need to know Nnamdi Kanu. He doesn't need to know. All I'm saying is that he should know justice. He should know the law that he practices. That's what I expect him to know. And if he's true to himself, he should know that he's speaking for both sides of his mouth. Because Nnamdi Kanu has already told the court. He has already told the court. The particular section of the law that says you should not be tried. Are you telling me that the whole attorney is not aware? Are you telling me that the attorney is not aware that the Supreme Court has already told the court that they don't even have any law to try Nnamdi Kanu?
Well, what he said is the case file. That's what he knows. He's not looking at the face, and that the law doesn't deal with sentiments.
What is inside the case file? Esther, what is inside the case file? As the Attorney General, in fact, he should be leading the prosecution in such a high-profile case to know what is being said in the court and not rely on what is being told. Okay, leave what is inside the file. Is he not aware? Is he not supposed to study the court proceedings? Are you telling me that he shouldn't know this as the Attorney General? So he's not making excuses for himself, for his bias. That's how to explain it, nothing else. All this one that is telling you that he has released, go and check those people he released where they come from. Enter. Let him break it down and tell us the list of those people he said can release, and let us know where they came from.
So why is justice not applied evenly? Because it's a cause for concern. In what way did Sunday Igboho defend himself? What strategy did his legal team use, to exonerate him? The same thing with Omoyele Sowore and that of Nnamdi Kanu. Because I really need to understand. Could it be that maybe they really have strong evidences to prove against Nnamdi Kanu for the treasonable felony he's been accused of? I recall in the case of
evidence. I am telling you that the United Nations, has written 3 letters concerning Nnamdi Kanu, which the federal government and I could not reply. The United Nations has written concerning Nnamdi Kanu. In the history of this country, no person has attracted such an attention. Are you telling me that the United Nations is supporting a terrorist? If Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist, why should they be interested? Mention any Western nation that has told them to become a terrorist, except the Nigerian government. So what are you telling me? They know what they are doing. That's why all these delays. Look at the matter went to Supreme Court, and they said they will bring it down again to the lower court. What does that tell you? Delay tactics. They don't know what to do. The court have already said they don't have any law to try Nnamdi Kanu. That is as simple as that. They made a mistake and they are very ashamed to correct it. Very, very ashamed. They don't know where to start within Nnamdi Kanu's case. That is the only thing.
His next appearance in court is on June 19. And what happens if he's denied bail then? How do we proceed? How will his case be? How would it proceed? Because it's worrisome, if he cannot be transferred to Kuje prison, if he cannot have adequate access to proper medical health care facilities.
There is no need. They will get tired of holding Nnamdi Kanu. They got tired of holding Abba almost Papa, and they let him go. They got tired of holding Dasuki, and they let him go. They got tired of holding the Bwala, former EFCC chairman, and they let him go. So it will be the same thing with Nnamdi Kanu.
Is it possible?
We know what is going on.
Is it possible for the president to intervene in this case under certain
Because at
conditions?
a point, the embarrassment will be so much for them. Yes, at a point, it will be so much for them. Even Dasuki refused to go to court. Because he said he will be tried in open court. But the government said, no, it must be in secrecy. The man said, no, I'm not going to do any secrecy. And he remembered that even when you offered giving the offer to go and bury his father when he died, he refused to go.
But the federal government has said that there are voice notes where Nnamdi Kanu gave certain, directives.
Let me hear you. It's not good again.
Can you hear me well now, Barrister Darlington? Can you hear me well?
Tweak it again. Let me hear you.
Barrister Darlington, when you say tweak it, switch on that. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? All right. So the federal government said there are voice notes where, Nnamdi Kanu gave directives. There is the Radio Biafra, which he has on YouTube, where he said quite a lot of things that supposedly diminished the authority of the Nigerian government. And these are what exactly they are holding him in custody for. So if you, can you hear me?
Let me hear you.
All right. Okay. So I think I need to put you on speaker. Obviously, the court has...
Just tweak it a bit. I will hear clearly.
Barrister, there's no tweaking. I don't know what else to tweak. So I'm just going to place you on speaker so you can...
It will come and go.
All right. It's the network. I apologize for that. Is it better now?
Go ahead. Let me see.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's okay now.
Okay, so I think it's the code. All right. So what I'm asking is the federal government has said that they have, there are footages, all right, that proves that Nnamdi Kanu acted against the Nigerian government by giving directions to persons to burn police stations, to beat up people and all whatnot. Could this be the reason why the federal government considers him a threat?
Please, Esther, I want to ask you a question. Please, and I want you to answer me. This thing you said now, please, look around you, look around Nigeria. Are you not aware that some people have done and said worse things in this country, and yet they are walking free?
It's true. Like the threat on the president's wife that was said by some northern traditional leaders. Nothing happened.
I mean, when you people throw up, it really irritates me. You are not catching our straws. You are looking for excuse. People have said and done worse things. You know that somebody can harm Tinubu's wife because of that statement. Do you know? And I'm sure after that statement, they took extra care to guide that woman. Yet nobody was arrested. How can you tell me that because Nnamdi Kanu said something, therefore, that's all? So before Nnamdi Kanu made that statement, nobody had gone police station before. After he made it, nobody had gone police station. It has to be Nnamdi Kanu. You know what they're telling me? But answer me. This other thing that's going on in the north, from Sheikh Kumi to Alaji Tenshi, and other people, even Erufai, all the provocative and inciting statements they have made that have caused problems. Why is it that nobody have talked about it? Every time, Nnamdi Kanu. When we are running the Kudirat in UK, go and listen to what they said here about the federal government of Nigeria. He was one running that station in you. Go and see what he said against the federal government of Nigeria. When Nadeko we are running that radio Kudirat, go and listen to what they said. Yes, nobody called them. Nobody did anything to ask them. So please, people should be very careful. We are passing propaganda. Nnamdi Kanu said this, Nnamdi Kanu. The one you said about against people, and again, you are not talking about it, Abby. You are not talking about it. The whole president of the country told you that the people of the south are like a dog in a temple.
That was former President Muhammadu Buhari.
That was Buhari now. Look at that. The whole president of Nigeria. What does that tell you? This particular one you mentioned now, what is more reasonable than that? The first lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. One frustrated sheikh, Islamic leader, opened his mouth and said, God told him. Nobody called him to say, okay, God told you, what was that from that God that told you to kill the president's wife? Come and tell me, let us hear from that God too. And people are talking. Please leave that in, please.
Barrister Darlington, I'm going to keep you on the line because we need to take phone calls, read out WhatsApp messages, and of course some comments on YouTube as well. Let's get reactions and recommendations from those who are virtually being part of this conversation, and of course those who are listening to us on the radio. So just
let me ask this. You see this thing about Igbos and P2B.
Yes.
They are handling their position. This thing they are doing cannot bring peace. Every time they'll be speaking on Igbos, anything that has to do with that, they'll be speaking on this and everything, and forgetting the love of food in their eyes, they'll be looking for a small speck in the Igbo side. Why? Everything they will look for one excuse for the other. Everyone that will just make a statement is still languishing in prison. What kind of thing is this? They are having position of people concerning Nigeria, whether they like it or not. That is it. Because they are treating as if they are not. It's only a slave who cannot sleep in his master's house. It's only a slave. So when you continue to talk at this like that, how do they tell me how? Others will commit a heinous crime. Nobody will talk about them. The mother that no, this is not good. Why did this is not good? They will not pick on him. What kind of country is this?
Barrister Darlington. All right, just stay on the line. I will definitely, I'm sure you will have questions to respond to because a lot of persons want to ask questions as to what we have discussed this evening. The number to call is 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. I would also implore you to please let your comments be civil and factual based on, what you heard most of these individuals say. I was able to play their sound bite, so nobody formed any word. All of this is, you can check it, is all over the media, all of this reaction, okay? Thank you very much. While you give us and contribute on the program this evening, the number to call is 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. This call is on WhatsApp. Hello, good evening. Thank you for joining us on the Political Spotlight. What's your name? Hello? Okay. Hello, good evening. Hello? Wow, the calls are cutting off. Please, network, don't disappoint us today. I beg you. Don't disappoint us today. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. All right. Hello. Good evening. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, good evening. How are you? Welcome to the Political Spotlight. What's your name and location, please?
Yeah, my location is Germany, and my name is Mazi Richard.
All right, Mazi Richard, go ahead.
Yeah, Dalo. About what the Attorney General of Nigeria said about Nnamdi Kanu. Honestly speaking, these people are taking Igbo for a ride. These people are just looking down on us. How could somebody, Attorney General of the Federation, could come out and say this kind of thing, that he doesn't know Nnamdi Kanu exists, he doesn't know anything about Nnamdi Kanu? I mean, I read it 2 days ago, and I was like, what the heck is going on with these people against Igbo? Because you cannot, Nnamdi Kanu's case has gone viral, has gone, everybody, in West Africa, people know about this case. For him to say that he doesn't know this case, he doesn't know Nnamdi Kanu, that means Malami that was prosecuting Nnamdi Kanu was also wrong. He took over from Malami. Does it mean that Malami did not brief him?
No, what he's saying,
does it mean that he never heard about this case?
Is that he doesn't know him as a person. He only knows his case file.
I don't blame them, Wachuku. I blame Igbo elites.
Why do you blame the Igbo elites? Why? What did they do?
I blame them.
What did they do?
They have made us a subject of caricature, a subject of mockery in Nigeria. Because if they had stood up as like men and women of honor and say something and demand for their right, in Nigeria, these people would not have been letting us down. We lost the war, okay, but the war was fought in the Igbo. Not if this war was between us and only them, the history would have been different. This man came out and he made this kind of, I don't want to call him names here because I'm so upset what this guy said about this Nnamdi Kanu. You are talking about Nnamdi Kanu say that. Look at what Gumi is saying. Imagine an Igbo elite visiting ECN in the bushes, or by now that man would have been in DSS custody without bail. But Sheikh Gumi has been visiting all these killer herdsmen that telling government to give them water, give them school. You offended them. And government has not one day arrested Gumi. Imagine a Christian clergyman visiting ECN in the camps or in the bushes. That man would have been in prison by now. The way they look down on us is because our people have already looked down on us. I don't blame any Yoruba man. I don't blame any Fulani man who is looking down on Igbo person. I blame the so-called Igbo political elites, traditional rulers. And let me tell you, let me tell them, Nnamdi Kanu, if Nnamdi Kanu goes, there are millions of Nnamdi Kanu, if they don't know, and it will be on them. The Yorubas are in their towns, the Fulanis are in their towns. But if anything happens to Nnamdi Kanu, those who are in Igbo land will be held responsible, and the people who are going to face the whole thing, because they and let me tell you, they handed over this young man to Nigeria. Igbo political jobbers. They handed these people to the enemies. Look at what Barrister Dalton is telling you. In the one Nigeria, and you want us to be very happy.
All right, Mazi, we need to take more calls.
Let us come and sit down and renegotiate this Nigeria.
Oh no.
Let us come down and renegotiate this Nigeria. If it's not working for us, those who want to leave should leave. Those who want to stay should stay. Why are we killing ourselves?
We're advocating for one Nigeria. Okay,
good night.
That's
Bye-bye.
what the Constitution proposes. Thank you so much for calling. The Constitution proposes one Nigeria. We are one. All right. The number to call is 0700 903 903 903. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Hello, you're on. I can hear you. Good evening. Okay. 0700 903 903 903. Sorry if I don't get to pick your call, or if I pick your call, you can't hear me. I think it's the network. All right. Hello. Good evening. Turn down the audio.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
I want to first of all thank the man who just spoke last.
Yes, please. What's your name? You didn't tell me. You didn't say your name.
To eat the bread of his level.
You did not say your name. What's your name?
Our politicians.
What's your name?
We have slave boys.
What's your name, please?
Willing tools in the southeast who have made themselves slaves. Sometimes I want to ask, when quota system was put in place, where we are our politicians, our leaders, where we are there? When federal character when states was created, that most Igbos was pushed into Benue, into Kogi and all that, and they are no more in the southeast. When southeast was divided, was reduced to a dot, which Buhari called them, where we are our leaders. Some of them came home, they comes home, they claim to be leaders, the one who goes around with Nigerian security to protect them and all that. But for me, they are purely cowards. They don't supposed to be called leaders. You see my point? They're not supposed to be called leaders, because when something is happening in the north, I remember this same Buhari who has just gone down a year ago from power. He said that attack on Boko Haram was attack on the north. He said it openly. Can any Igbo politician say attack on IPOB is attack on Igbos? Can any Igbo politician say that? They are all ass lickers, licking the ass of those in the north, thinking that they will give them power. Look at what Chibika Mechi did under 8 years of Buhari. He was a slave boy, roaming around, project this, the other one. No project was executed. The train track that was all over Nigeria, including into Niger Republic. None was in the Igbo land, in Southeast. But we are Nigerians. We are paying tax to Nigeria. We are one of the highest taxpayers of Nigeria. Apart from the oil revenue of Nigeria, which we also are part of the oil owners. We own the oil wells, which we don't share from them. We are one of the highest contributor of revenue in Nigeria government. Tell me the tribes that contribute to Nigerian forces. We are the cash cow of Nigeria. So if they cannot boldly say enough of this nonsense, speak as men, enough of this nonsense, either we die, Either we live as freemen or we die. Instead of being slave in our own land. We have been so much enslaved systematically. And when you speak, they will blackmail you by saying that you are complaining, we are lamenting. One can't ask yourself, why am I complaining? Why is this man complaining? What have I done wrong to this man that he's complaining always? Where am I offending him? But no, they always want to blackmail us.
All right, thank you so much.
If I'm to say all that I feel like, all that is happening, all that I witnessed in Nigerian project, maybe I will take all your time.
Thank you.
Take out from here, going from Lagos.
Thank you.
East,
we need to take
from
more
Lagos
calls.
to Wole or to Abba.
We need to
you
take
make
more
no less than 100 checking points.
Thank you.
Some places you see from one checking point.
We need to take more calls. Okay, please. We need to take more calls. We need to give other people opportunity to speak up. All right. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Welcome to the.
Good evening, Esther.
Good evening. How are you? Welcome to the political spotlight. What's your name, please?
My name is Situ, calling from Freetown, Sierra Leone, and I greet my brother, Barrister Darlington.
You're calling from Sierra Leone?
Yes.
All right, please go ahead.
Esther Wachuku, I want to say something here clearly. Shekugumi.
Yes, sir.
You might not understand the reason why our people are harsh, are speaking the way they speak. You might not understand the reason why we speak the way we speak. You might not understand, but with time you will understand. As an Igbo man, you are a danger in Nigeria. I'm telling you.
Okay.
And let me tell the word something.
Wait, calm down, sir. Please, let's be careful of the words we use. I beg you, please. This is a terrestrial.
Bukachua said that Igbo man deserves to be killed. It's there on social media.
Sir.
It's there on national television. He said it.
Please calm down. Just say what you want to say in a very civil manner as you can, please.
Shekugumi told the terrorists in the bush that the people that is killing them, the soldier that is killing them is Christian soldiers. What does that show? What does that tell you? Can anybody from the Southeast make that? Do you know what that statement is? In a country where they said one Nigeria, and you are telling terrorists that in the bush that the terrorists that were killing people, that the soldiers that are killing them are Christian soldiers. So therefore, any Christian soldiers you see should be eliminated. That is why they will come to the east, they pack the Christian soldiers, they send them to the north, set them all to be killed.
I think you're making reference to the accidental bombing that took place in I think one of the mosques. I remember that particular incident where a lot of people were reacting to that. Was that not where that statement was made? Where they said that?
Not that one. I said Sheikh Gumi went to the dungeon where the terrorist is.
Okay.
The video is there. He told them that the people, that the soldiers that are killing them are Christian soldiers. The videos are there. And the 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari, what he achieved was to chasing Nnamdi Kanu from one country to one country. That is what he achieved. And he said we are dot in the circle. And our so-called political elite, coupled with the man I respect, they went and saw cloth and write it dot. Now, they went and saw cloth on this. Somebody call you a dot.
Sir, please. It's okay. You're
supposed to ask him, what does that mean? They went and saw cloth.
Thank you very much,
These
sir.
people, before you cut me off, because we love to speak our mind. Nigeria have dealt with, Nigeria have the last word of us, and we are fighting back.
You need to calm down. All right, please. It's okay.
You might not understand you might not understand the pain our people are going. Surely is demolishing the property of Ndibo. And nobody is going to tell him, we are going to take you to the international court.
Sir, I understand.
This is systematically genocide against Ndibo.
We need to take all the calls. Please try to calm down. We're not trying to stoke the polity. We're not trying to heat up the polity. We're having sincere conversations. Our recommendations can be given for the kind of change that is required within our socio-political landscape. All right, we don't want to ethnicize anything. We don't want to start throwing blames or blame games at anything. Please, on VOP 90.3 FM is the voice of the people, but we are one Nigeria. So let's look at how we can look at solutions to these endemic issues that is really creating that conflict within us. All right, okay. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Fine, my name is Emmanuel, calling from Abulado.
Calling from where, sir?
Abulado.
All right, sir. Please, it's your car. I don't know. There's something making noise at the background.
I want to this statement of one Nigeria. America, they say one America. Or South Africa, one South Africa, Cameroon, one Cameroon.
Hello, sir. Can you turn down the audio of your radio?
One Nigeria.
There's something making noise at the background.
All of us know that we are not one. Every time one Nigeria, we are promoting one Nigeria. Thank you. That's what I want to do.
All right, thank you, sir. We have to promote one Nigeria. There is no other country but here for us. 0700-903-903-903. That's the number to call. 0700-903-903-903. Remy, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, Esther.
Well done.
How about you?
I'm fine. I'm working.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Each time I hear this phrase by mostly people from the southeast, that the Igbos are being marginalized or the Igbos are endangered species, I laugh, because to me it is untrue. These are my reasons, and I'll give examples for you to know that that phrase, it's actually subconsciously sold to people from that region to believe it to be true, which is not. Are you going to tell me people who were displaced at Bejuleki under APC government in Lagos State, I think under body, about 30,000 people were displaced at Bejuleki, all because there's an interest, invested interest in that particular location. People were displaced, people died.
Okay.
Court gave an order that that shouldn't happen, but they went ahead and do it. Those people are Yorubas. Have they ever come out to tell you that they are being marginalized because they are Yorubas? Or do you see such narrative going around?
Okay.
In their own state, not as if they were from another state.
All right.
Across Lagos State, you can see that happening. Whenever the establishment wants a place or they want a thing, whatever stands their way, they come for it. Sunday go when they wanted to go after him, they keep people in his house now.
Yeah,
people were killed. El Zazaki, 1,000 of his members were killed broad daylight.
Okay, in other words, Remy, so what are you saying, Remy, that it cuts across all regions? It's not just one particular region, isn't it?
Entity that stands against the establishment, they will come for you. Be you Yoruba, be you Igbo, be you whatever tribe.
Okay.
Showere's brother was assassinated. Etazaki's children, about 6 of them were killed in a day. Are they from the southeast? The answer is no, but they were against the establishment at a point. My point is this: whenever anybody stands, it is the people against the establishment that you must know. So for you to keep saying they are against this and that, people who have been displaced in Lagos State, are they not from Lagos? Are they not Yorubas? People who have been sent out from their homes, they are some are Yorubas. So people should take it easy with this narrative that the governors in Southeast, are they not Igbos? Are they from other states? Why are they not acting right?
That's what the callers are saying, that they don't blame the federal government. They actually blame the Igbo elites. They blame the Igbo politicians. They blame the Igbo leaders. That's precisely what those callers are saying.
So, for those that keep finding these embers of tribal war, they should know it is the poor against the establishment. I'm not enjoying this country because I'm a Yoruba man. I'm going through the same hell as every other person out there. So they should take this thing easy with if Showrek kept on pushing the same what he was doing, he will be locked up behind bars. Same as Sunday Igboho. So it is not maybe they have something against a particular tribe. It is the establishment against anybody that stands. We saw Zazaki, what happened to him now.
Yes. Thank you so much, Remy. Thank you for that apt response. All right. Thank you so much. Remy is saying that it is beyond one particular ethnic group. Every other person, so long as you stand against the integration of the state or national cohesion, you will definitely be locked up. All right. Hello. Good evening. Thank you for joining us today. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening.
Good
Name and
evening.
location, please. I am fine.
Hi, this is Christian. I'm in the US. How are you?
I'm fine, Christian. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I was just commenting on the minister's comment regarding Kano, Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay.
I don't know what justice is talking about. If a guy that displayed instruments of state and declared a secessionist situation when escaped and got released, different from Nnamdi Kanu, just laugh at them. That's all I wanted to say. That doesn't sound like justice to me. Okay.
All right, thank you so much for calling, Christian. The number to call is 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. Please do not forget to keep your comments as civil as possible. All right, it's quite important. And I beg you, calm down, okay? Calm down. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Turn down the volume of your radio, please. Yes, yes, sir. Name and location, please, sir.
Good evening. My name is Roslyn. I'm calling from Ado.
Your name is what, sir?
Are you hearing me?
No, what did you said your name is what, sir?
Roslyn.
Oh, Roslyn. All right, sir. Oh, okay, go ahead, ma. I thought you were a man.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm a woman.
all right, ma, go
What
ahead.
we are saying is this. Nnamdi Kanu case and the Sunday Buho and Shewere all are the same.
All right.
But what we are saying is that why they release the Ibuho, release the Shewere, and they no release the Nnamdi Kanu. Why? That's why we are annoyed because of that. When they treat us as they treat others, we know that we are one. But without that, we know feel that we are one. That is the main reason.
All right. Thank you so
See
much,
what the
Roslyn.
Chief Justice, the type of statement he make. So you look like say we are one. And since 2021, they hold Nnamdi Kanu. With no reason that they give. I think if we want somebody, either you take him to court and judge him, and if he's guilty, you give him that judgment. But no judgment, nothing. They just keep him for DSS this thing. So that DSS, that is where they are keeping someone.
All right.
So that is the reason why he's annoying us.
All right. Thank you so much,
Me,
Madam
I myself, I don't believe that we are one.
All right,
Then
Madam Roslyn.
my Igbo fellow brothers and sisters, you people cause something that is to be falling us like this. Because if something happens, you people know say we are the one who will carry it. That's why everybody always keeping quiet. That's the reality.
All right, Roslyn.
That's my comment.
Thank you so much, Roslyn, for calling. Let me read out some messages on WhatsApp and on YouTube. I'm going to start from YouTube. Somebody says, okay, this is from Mazi Prince. Bwala is now Recruiter General, huh? What a country. Okay. Who then, Ola Adewale says, who then can lead Nigeria? Is the Baba Shokes, the Akbaru, or the Prof himself? John says, if you know what Nigeria really is and you are not very angry, then nothing will ever make you angry. It's a Royal Niger Company of Britain and Fulani. Okay, I'm not going to read this out. Laurel Messan said, what is really happening in our country, Nigeria? Nkem Lim says, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu completely exposed and destroyed Nigeria's zoo with nothing but just truth. No human being can fix that contraption. OB12 Obi says, all this disturbance in Kano is the handwork of Ganduchi. They want to gain back Kano in 2027. All right. Somebody says, good evening. Thank you so much. Good evening to you too. The Igbo should stop wearing their sad traditional Isiago in Nigeria because they are being used as slaves in Nigeria. And Esther, please, we are not one Nigeria. This is from Chooks Igwe. All right. Somebody says, God bless you, barrister. If the president wants to release Nnamdi Kanu today, he'll be released saying he was being held by Eastern governor. Let him call an order. All right, please. I don't understand what you're writing here. Igbo man. He says, okay. We are not one Nigeria, please. Esther Machuku is claiming one Nigeria because she is working on radio station and getting her money. Yeah, Igbo man, I'm sorry. My job is to ensure that we have and support national integration. If DSS come and carry me, will you contribute money to release me? Will you give me a top-notch lawyer? Remember, this is a terrestrial radio station. We are guided by laws and codes of conduct which we must adhere to. Our job is not to stoke the polity. We're not meant to promote anything that will be divisive. So please, kindly just be civil in your comment, and whatever it is you want to say about me, fine, it's your business. But if anything happens to me, you would not protect me. All right. And Tempisi Aguilera says the Kano Empire is not 1,000 years old. It was created after Usman Danfodio invasion of the Hausa by the Fulani government in the 18th century. All right, okay. Good evening, Esther. All right, Esther, please, it's getting harder. People begging around the streets. That's very true. It's really getting very hard. The government needs to do something about it. Where are the palliatives that the president promised us? When will we start getting the Nano Trust Fund that he promised us in the Renewed Hope agenda? These are the questions, and these are the reasons why Nigerians are clamoring for changing governance, for changing government, a government that represents the interests of the people and not any form of bias. All right, we're taking your calls now. Good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Good evening. Good evening, Esther.
Yes, sir. Good evening. What's your name, please?
This is Nnamdi calling from Spain.
All right, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for calling.
Happy Sunday.
Same to you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, the issue of let me just start with the Nnamdi case.
All right.
Esther, did you beat a child and tell the child not to cry?
No, sir. The child will cry.
Okay.
Now. We shout, sir.
Exactly. That is the problem of Nnamdi. No, these people are just jumping. They don't want to start from how this thing started. Nnamdi Kanu was just like all these internet bloggers preaching, educating people, telling them about Nigeria, about history that they remove in education, telling them the mission. When they find out that they say just preaching for better Nigeria. And then the Buhari was contesting. Okay, you come out to contest with Jonathan. He was telling people about Buhari, telling them the mission. His mission that even the people group more deadlier than Boko Haram will just surface very soon if Buhari entered. And all this has happened. Even the Tinubu of issue of Tinubu will let her leave. This man was doing this at the end of it. Jonathan just decided said Buhari won. He came back to visit his family, to see his mother and the father. These people, Buhari just arrived, Buhari picked him and put him inside cell. This guy was there without any reason, just because of just a preach like other ones. I know people that are doing this. Other people are doing it. Just see, because I don't know what he really has from the guy with the guy. We just to arrest this guy.
All right.
This guy went to court.
Okay.
Court said they discharge this guy. Buhari decided, said no. At the end of it, court, they took this guy. Okay, they later released the guy. This guy went to it. They said 2 days to the court. They said they will sit again. 2 days to the court. Abby went there, and they look at what they did. The guy managed to escape and left.
All right.
This the kid they had the mother die.
We need to take more calls.
I was just
it's more than 2 minutes now. I need to take more calls.
Let me just round up.
Right.
Your sin is forgiven, Esther.
Thank you.
Because today you don't use proscribed IPOB. Said only IPOB. Last Monday, your analyst that last Monday. I pray. What happened to Nnamdi? May he befall on that guy. He lose the father and the mother.
Calm down, no.
That guy you also calling the actually. Who is this guy?
Calm down, Biko. Please do not insult or curse anybody. I beg you. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. I'm going to read out some messages. Somebody says, Esther, don't bother about Kenneth Okonkwo. All right, okay. He's a scavenger looking for crumbs, and that's from Udom. All right, thank you, Udom, for that message. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Yeah, please, I'll be very brief. There's one guy I call Remy. That guy is a very intelligent guy, Remy.
Yes,
I like hearing from him, but this time he got it a bit mixed up because what we're talking about is the faith of plight of Igbo in Nigeria. It didn't start under Nnamdi Kanu. It started after
Way
the Civil
before that,
War.
yes.
Yes, and let me then tell him. For example, this Igbo chief that is being detained in Lagos for only mentioning IPOB. That man said, if these people cannot protect us, then let us call IPOB to protect us. This man has been languishing in the jail in Nigeria just to mention IPOB. So this is what pieces of what makes us to be very angry with Igbos.
Right.
Angry.
Thank
know
you.
what I'm saying? So everybody is suffering in Nigeria, but our Igbo plight is more than other ones.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Good evening, sir.
Yes. Good evening, sir. What's your name, please, and location?
My name is Living from Uganda.
Your name is what, sir?
Living from Uganda.
All right, Livinus, please go ahead. You please just use a minute.
Concerning Nnamdi Kanu case.
All right.
The Minister of Justice will not say he didn't know who Nnamdi Kanu is. The only thing is just like he had just maybe acting a drama.
Okay.
So what is...
Hello? Oh, we've lost that connection. Let me read more WhatsApp messages. Esther, Mr. Darlington said there is nobody that is perfect. Then why is he criticizing Ganduje and APC leadership for corruption when he knows there's nobody that is perfect? Esther, is VOP for Igbo? Let's know. You didn't put your name. Please always put your name. VOP is for everybody, every ethnic group, every tribe, anywhere you are, any tribe you belong to in this country. VOP is for everybody. So if you have anything you want to contribute, if you're against or if you're for, the forum is free for you to lend your voice and be part of the conversation. All right, 0700 903 903 903. We'll take one final call and then I get to take an input of my analysts to wrap up the program before we go. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Name and location, please. Kindly turn down the volume of your radio.
Okay, I will do that.
Hello?
Okay.
Yes, it's better now. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. Let me start with Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay.
Okay. Had it been that those soldiers that went to his house at the village, that they succeeded in killing him, will they be talking of Nnamdi Kanu now? Will they be talking of Mijombe? Now, let me make it clear. Do you know when Nigeria's problem will end? Until a Jerry Rollins surfaces. If not, all these things that we are talking, we are just wasting our time. When the Jerry Rollins surfaces, you will see what will happen in Nigeria. All of them, they will pick race. That's what I want to say. Thank you. God bless.
All right, thank you so much. I want us to quickly take a listen to Barrister Darlington to give us a final wrap-up on most of the calls that you have had and your reaction as well, so that we can, wrap up the Political Spotlight. Barrister Darlington, good evening. Thank you for joining us once again. What's your final take on the conversation that we have had so far? I would like to hear from you. I'm sure you've heard the callers give their own contribution. Hello, Barrister Darlington. Please, in a minute, yes. What's your final conclusion?
Even God said, all have sinned and come short of his glory.
Yes.
Nobody is expected to be perfect, but there are certain things expected of you. Esther, feeding bottle is meant for children. When you not see an adult taking feeding bottle, what does that tell you? Are you supposed to be doing that? As a leader, you made promises before you came into office. So why are you not following your promises? That is where I come in. If in the course of doing this, you make certain mistakes, we can talk at least you are pursuing your goal. You came in here, you remove the first office, and we are still suffering. No benefit. You came in here, you are not removing electricity bill. We are still on it. On top of that, you want to bring in cyber security lady. On the same people that are suffering already. Please, is that a mistake? No, that man should answer me. There are things expected of you as an adult, a rational adult.
Right,
if you are not doing it, then you are not worthy to be there. That's what we are saying.
All right, so
the Attorney General is telling us he does not know Nnamdi Kanu. We don't want him to know anybody.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Those the new are still in detention.
Thank you. Thank you, Barrister Darlington, for taking your time to share a perspective. We're wrapping up the political spotlight. My name is Esther Nwachukwu. For some of you, I couldn't take your calls. I sincerely do apologize. And for some of your messages I couldn't read, we sincerely do apologize. All right. To have yourself a beautiful Sunday evening, remember to subscribe to Estiq Media, ESTIQ MEDIA. Good evening.